So the battle began yesterday, and I have all the footage of the beginning of this battle right here. So I'm gonna kind of give you the story. First of all, it was the night I was out with my wife, and I wasn't able to do this live. I apologize that I couldn't bring you this live. I did do a live stream of what went on later on in the battle, but this was the beginning of absolute mayhem. We have BDM, which is my alliance, the Blood Moon Alliance, and we're trying to hold off VSDG, which has some Krakens. I believe there are 5 Krakens inside of the clan. If you don't know what a Kraken is, or inside of the alliance, a Kraken is someone that spends a ton of money and is extremely powerful. I believe there are 5 accounts here with T5s. Now, I believe we only have 1 T5 account, which means tier 5 troops, for those of you that don't know. We're trying to hold off this section. What I did was I recorded this while I was out, so I got the overhead scene of everything going on. Right below us is a bridge. They're crossing over the bridge, which means we have them funneled. We can attack as they go through this narrow section, and we are holding as strong as we can. Now, look at the number of Blood Moon Alliance people right here. Yet they keep VSDG continues to push on through this pass. But, well, actually, the pass is down below. We have our core fortress up above, and all we're doing is trying to drop as much fire down on them as we can. And the reason why I wanted to bring this to you, because it's not a live battle at this point, but it was a really nice battle when it was, is because of how well and how proud I am of the Blood Moon Alliance. They really stood strong and fought their best against accounts that were really difficult. Now, we set up all the barricades all in front here just to try and slow down the enemy. Notice we are being pushed back a little bit. We want to keep our range, and I believe it's also worth noting one of the Krakens, one of the biggest guys here, is using infantry troops. So with us utilizing the larger range, we're able to get some damage out there earlier before we get spanked around by some infantry units. So now he's continuing to push on up, and it's hard to tell who is actually here. Was the Kraken actually in the battle as they went over the initial bridge? From what I'm seeing, and I know the name, I don't see that name up in here just yet, but this is a back and forth battle. We get pushed back. We are then able to push back up on them. Remember, we have a lot of our alliance teleported right by our core fortress. We set up the core fortress there so that we could have our alliance mates that are ready for battle. Essentially, majority of these are our T4s. They're there set so they can go back, they can get some new troops, send out new marches, and not have to march 20 minutes like I was doing later on in the evening, because my march was not right here. The battle took place way west and way south from where we are right now at this bridge. So for me, it was a 20-minute walk to get over to battle in the afternoon. After this, when I finally got home, and it was then just, you got one march there, and when you get wiped out, you got to just kind of go back home, and it's a walk, and it just takes some time. So teleporting to your area is really nice. But for those of you that are new here, and I know that there are a lot of new people from the comment section that are just starting Call of Dragons, this is what Call of Dragons is about. This is the insane fun that we have inside of Call of Dragons. This is why you need a strong alliance inside of Call of Dragons, because it's not a game that's just about farming up your village and getting strong troops and going out and beating Darklings. This is about war. We're fighting over territory. The more territory you have, the more behemoths you can have, which essentially is the more power that you have inside of the game, and your dominance will reign strong. Now, we are in server 32, and inside of this server, we have BDO, which is the alliance that Chisgul is part of. We have BDM, which is us, and then there are other ones below as well. Now, we are not a massive spending alliance, so we have to fight strong with what we have. As I mentioned, we have one player with T5 units who does spend quite a bit, and the rest of us are probably mid to low spenders, and we are sitting with T3, which is me. I'm only tier 3 troops, and a bunch of the players right here are T3 and T4, which means you have to progress further. If you're already tier 5 troops 2 weeks into a server opening, you better believe that person is spending some serious bucks to get that kind of progression, which is totally cool, totally fair. That's how the game works. But inside of server 32, there is massive competition. This, I believe, is oh, there he is right there, Quang. That is the Kraken over there. And Kwang has 5 different accounts, all with T5s, I believe. Don't hold me to that, but from the discussions we were having, that's what I believe. Now notice as Kwang comes up, he starts doing some serious damage, and we're getting a bunch of sad faces. We were dropping the sad faces, and the sad face means they get destroyed and have to go back home because they died. But here, Kwang is coming through, and notice as those T5s come over the bridge, they start dropping damage on us, and we start taking deaths, or actually severely wounded, because in these battles, you don't lose any troops, which is really great about this game. Inside of a battle like this, you will get wounded and severely wounded units. Those units are gonna then go back home and they will heal up for free. You don't lose troops from this, which is really a nice feature. The thing is, it could take hours. After my battle, it took 8 hours for my troops to heal up, which kind of kept me out of the battle. I could have gone with tier 3 Celestials, but I don't have as many of them as I had my little wizards. So now notice, we're pushing them back a little bit. They're backing up. We're going to start moving up to take some more position. We have more units coming from their cities, and we're ready to fight. Like I mentioned, it's a back and forth battle right now. And they're going to push back. They're going to wait for their T5s to return, and then they're going to push back on us. And then we're going to have to be pushed back. It's a back and forth battle, which makes this extremely fun, which is why when I got home from a 2-hour, or I was home like 3 hours after this all went down. Here we go. Here's their push again. They're pushing in strong, and we're trying to keep our distance. Remember, make sure that you are using your troops and keeping them out of harm's way as much as you can. This is not where you just click and drop and leave it. You need to make sure that you're managing your rallies and your armies that are there on the battlefield. So it's a back and forth push right here. So when I got this footage and I watched it, I was like, wow, I need to share this. I need to share this because this is what war looks like in Call of Dragons. That's actually what I may call this. That is what I'm going to call this video. What war looks like in Call of Dragons. This was eventually won. This pass was taken by VSDG. But as I mentioned, Blood Moon, we fought strong. And I shouldn't say we because I was not actually part of this. I couldn't be here and I felt awful about it. Not only that I couldn't stream it, but that I couldn't actually fight in it. Not that my T3s would have made much of a difference against T5s, but I felt like I should have been there with my alliance. And this type of a game, things happen at random times. When passes open, I mean, we're looking at a battle that's going on, and it's going to be going on for probably 2 days. And it's when you can get on, you can. When your troops heal, you get in there and you dive into the battle, and it's an ongoing thing. I mean, it's Easter weekend, and for our Jewish friends out here, it's Passover weekend. Yet there is war going on in Call of Dragons, and you cannot ignore it. You have to be there to fight alongside because you don't want to get all of yourself wiped. Now, during all of these battles, alliances are being made, treaties are being made. Other alliances are working together to try and fight off a certain monster, or I shouldn't call them a monster because that makes them sound evil. We don't want to say that they're evil, but the enemy, I should say. So really, this is a very social game. Inside of this game, you are going to have to work with others, not only your alliance, but other alliances, and really figure out how you're all going to succeed in the game in a way that is happy and okay for everyone. Now, as you can see, VSDG, they are storming our beach, you could say, and we're gonna have to start falling back at this point. They did, as I mentioned, end up winning this battle, but this video was not only about showing you what war looks like in Call of Dragons, but it was really to give a big shout out to Blood Moon, who came in here and fought their hearts out. Sounds cheesy, but I'm telling you, they did the best that they could. Now, there were strategies that we had to try and take down the behemoth, to try and take down these T5s, and we definitely had epic moments as well. That battle that we just watched was an epic battle. Later on in the evening, we had our Kraken going on up there and just completely smoking, taking a pass all by himself. It was an incredible fight to watch as well. Unfortunately, I don't have that one recorded. But man, it was a lot of fun. Look at this, Kwang USD right here on his way out. That is one of their Krakens, which means our T3s and T4s took out that T5 player, which is really impressive. And again, we have to feel good about that. Now, the battle hasn't stopped. Our center fortress, our core fortress is still there. which means we still have that land behind us, which is where a lot of our players are stationed. So once they start taking over that core fortress, we're going to have to start teleporting out of there, because if they take the fortress, it's no longer our land. If it's no longer our land and we're on it, they can then attack our cities. But as you can see, they are beginning to overwhelm the area. We're not done fighting yet. There is still a bit more fight to go, but the area is being swarmed by VSDG, and they did a really nice job of it. Now, when I was live streaming later on in the evening, the later portions of this battle, a couple of members of VSDG came through the stream, and it was really cool actually to see the opponents in there and being cool about it too. Like, this is the game. Like, we can't get butthurt over people if you lose a battle. This is the game. Battles you're gonna win, battles you're gonna lose. You're gonna have to put in work on healing up your troops and training troops. This is just how things go. That's why we play Kingdom Builders, because we love the struggle. We love the battles, and really, we love working together to strategize, to try and win as many of these battles as we can. This is just the beginning. This is the pass opening, and the pass means, like, you know, the passages from one section to another. This is week 2. There are years ahead of this game where we're going to be focusing on all of these battles. Whenever I could bring them to you live, I will bring them to you live. Whenever I can't, I will try my best to record and bring it to you afterwards so you can see what went down, and we can kind of oversee and look through how the battles went. Notice they're pushing our core fortress right now, and we're having to retreat a bit behind the core fortress. The screen right now looks very different from how it looked in the beginning of this video. In the beginning, it was all blue. Now it is almost all red. We were outpowered, but not without a very good fight. Hope you guys get a better understanding of what war and battles actually look like inside of Call of Dragons, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so when I come up with a live stream of an event like this that just pops out of the blue, you'll get notified and you won't miss it, because this stuff is amazingly fun. So much action. Big love to Blood Moon, and I'll see you guys tomorrow or later today in another live stream, video, or short. It never ends. I'll see you guys later.